Welcome back to the Zen Brain Podcast. This is Michael Pierce, your host, and this is a continuation from last episode on our drive home from the grocery store, where we shifted the conversation to talk a little bit about some of the Simpson predictions, and that led into an interesting conversation, some of which had to do with warfare and using weather as a part of warfare, as well as some other interesting possibilities that could be conspiring in our world. So I'll go ahead and play it. We'd love to hear your feedback. Let me know what you think. If you'd like to start a podcast, Spotify has an excellent platform that lets you make one super easily and distribute it everywhere that podcasts are played, and you can even earn money for your podcast. And the best part is, it's completely free. They've got all the tools, including editing, background, and other things that make it super easy to start an awesome podcast. So I would highly recommend you check it out by going to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. So we're talking about Simpsons. What did you had a story or something?
Oh, no, well, I just think this is a fascinating topic because all of it just brings up the question that after you actually watch Trump going down the escalator and then watch The Simpsons that happened, 17 years early, I don't even know.
Yeah.
The next question, because it becomes undeniable at that point, is...
Did they know?
Well, I mean, to me, it's kind of clear. It's why. Why did they show us? And it's the only thing that I can think, and the only thing that I've heard before is just like a serial killer. They want to
plant seeds.
They want to plant seeds and really actually let you know what they're doing. Also, just like vampires and all this other weird shit, they need our permission. So what better way than to provoke direction of our thought by cinema? Yeah, exactly.
That's what makes me go to.
Which then makes us pre-think it. Therefore, it becomes real to those who really focus on that, and who is really watching The Simpsons. Besides a couple kids and/or the ones who watch Fox 13, which are more adults who are most likely being indoctrinated.
But the weird ones on The Simpsons is not only it's one thing for them to predict that he runs for president, but the scene in it is the same in reality.
The exact same.
And that came first.
The person dropping the sign, even.
Yeah.
Which is like, did that person get paid to drop the sign?
Exactly.
Or did they literally see that? Because just like as we know, the UN, the United Nations, have an annual channeling where they have people, even from Gaia TV and whatever else, talking that do these channels, that channel entities from the Pleiades or Andromeda, and they listen to them. And so who's to say that these things weren't actually already known and seen to the T?
Wow.
And so for them, just like a deja vu, like us seeing these things to the T, we have deja vu because we're connected to spirit and source. They only get deja vu through science and creating such fields. Hence why when you look at 9/11, some of that, when it gets to the ritualistic grounds, they were recreating, or at least so I heard, the Mesa over in India. And so they recreated it. Then they bombed it in a symbolical way where the roads and everything were this inverted pentagram bullshit. And then right after that, blamed it on Afghanistan and all those stuff. And then we started attacking them. And I even have friends who fought in the Fallujah War and shit talking about how we fucking started aiming and bombing their museums and shit. And some of their things we were told not to attack, but some of them we were told specifically to attack, as we were like, wait, what? Like, we were told that they were hid out in there. We were told that they had like some fucking bases and other comms. So we were artillery and shell ancient buildings that were known for, you know, holding and storing artifact or knowledge of the past world.
So here's another one. Disney buys 20th Century Fox. In 1998 episode When You Dish Upon a Star, there's a sign outside the Fox studio that says, a division of Walt Disney. The real acquisition didn't take place until 2 decades later in 2019. 2 decades. Or smartwatches, 1995, Lisa's wedding, a future Lisa, fiance, uses a watch as a phone. This is when 2 decades before smartwatches became a reality. That's not really a surprise to me. It seems that's you could predict that you'd have a phone on your watch. I think that's been in like Star Trek type movies.
Yeah, and even like, yeah, it has.
The Ebola outbreak.
James Bond and such.
1997 episode, Marge is seen reading a book to Bart titled Curious George and the Ebola virus. This sparked online theories that the show predicted the 2014 Ebola outbreak. Now that doesn't surprise me at all because I think that all pandemics are planned. That's just me.
Yeah, I honestly kind of think so too. I can't dive too deeply into all this, but even the Dark Ages, the fucking the Black Plague and everything, I truly believe that was absolutely chemical warfare brought either upon its own people or from in the enemy states. Brought into the food, brought into other things. Chemical warfare has existed for so long. It's literally how Rome was sacked after destroying the aqueducts and launching diseased cattle over their walls and sending plagued corn and wheat into starved people. And so, yeah, it's been a known tactic forever. So I believe that was just out of control and or very much in their control. But it was probably one of the first or one of the worst, shall we say, cases of chemical warfare that we know of or that's been recorded. So
yeah, I'm skeptical of all the big emergencies. If there is a big emergency, the first thing I ask when it's a like worldwide or countrywide or whatever big emergency, is the enemy invisible? Can I see it? Is there any real evidence that it even exists? The obvious examples is going to be terrorists, right? You're just afraid of an invisible enemy.
Yeah.
Viruses are invisible. Global warming is invisible. The greenhouse effect, the splitting of the ozone layer, that one disappeared. Those are all invisible. Any kind of disease that's not people aren't falling in the street is whatever they show on TV. Like the last one started off with people literally falling in the street in China. And then it plants these seeds in our head. So I don't want to go deep into that. I'm just saying every time there is a major problem that's like causing wars or anything, my question is it even real at all? And where I'm at now, I say most of those big things are not. No. Most of the real big things are covered up.
Yeah. What I actually heard, the footage that we were seeing in China was one, martial law coming down of people of the law grabbing protesters and shoving them in basically concentration camps. But when you just see people pass out and fall over on the ground, that was sonic warfare. That was the sound weapons that they have, that they blare, that creates nausea, vomiting, passing out, everything like that. And so during their moments of martial law, as they were literally kicking in people's doors and ripping them from their homes and claiming that it was all in the name of, fucking COVID.
There was a quote-unquote gas leak in one of these videos, too, that was put out there as if it was people dying from a sickness. But there was a leak, and they were just passing out. But was that warfare?
Yeah, I guarantee it was. I guarantee. It's just like when you start even looking at the random research of like the hundreds of thousands of birds falling to their death from the sky in Alabama, like raining dead birds.
Yeah.
And you're like, why is this? It's apocalyptic, scary shit. No, it's fucking yet again like HARP technology, 5G technology. It's microwaves. It's fucking microwaves that they're controlling to microwave us and increase or decrease certain sensitivities, to where we're literally dying from the inside, agitated, grinding our teeth, kinking in our necks, stopping certain flows of certain things, invoking certain thoughts. It's all what they want. And it's so powerful that literally it kills birds, it kills animals and shit around us. So it's not that hard to believe that, it's being used literally daily, 24/7.
And that's the big thing. It's like as technology moves forward, it's both super awesome, but also if you ask, well, who's controlling it and what could they do with it if they wanted to? And to me, I feel like if somebody can, they will. Like if you're building a technology that could control people, but you're using it for faster internet, why would you not build it so that you could also control in case it comes up?
Dude, right?
Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you be like, well, we might as well add in this triangular laser beam to shoot it into someone's forehead in case we need to.
Yeah.
In case there's a threat and we need to protect and keep people safe.
These are those moments that I forget the details of the incidents of the, in 1947, whatever. But it was actually very recently in California. There were these fires that lit these homes on fire and all this shit and everything. And it was like on this certain street in California. And anyways, the more you start looking into it, there was actually on weather reports this giant heat beam coming down on those exact locations. And when you look at the way that the fires ignited and burned these things, I mean, it was ridiculous the way it melted cars. It was so hot that it wouldn't burn them even if two cars collided and blew up in flames.
It's not going to do that.
It wouldn't do what this did to these cars.
I've seen those and they're melted.
It lit the tree on fire from the inside.
Yeah.
There's video of this.
Is this hard? Because I've seen this.
The only way that this could happen is yet again microwave, something that is igniting from the inside. That's how a microwave works. So it's a concentrated microwave beam that they can fucking direct from satellites, and now anywhere all over the world, because they just launched these fucking satellites that now circle the world, whatever that fucking jet stream is. I forget what it's called. But we saw it when we were at the festival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the first time I've seen it.
Yeah.
I want to look more into that. They're
The
balloons,
Tesla,
right?
the Tesla link or whatever, the Starlink system. And so, there's many things that thing can do as soon as you just create a conduit, a relay system that is then capable of receiving, wireless updates.
I know, and I was just thinking, I saw this video of this guy. It was at night, and it was a street camera, and he was drunk, and he was hobbling home, and a lightning strikes him.
Oh, dude.
He falls to his feet
like 2 times or whatever.
And it was at least 2 times.
I want to say it ended up being 3.
And there was part of me that was like, dude, that's a weapon. There's no way that I'm not saying there's no way, because I hear that electricity will strike more than one place because there's probably concentrated energy. I'm not really going to go there because it wasn't even raining in this video, but. Could you do that? Could you use lightning? Could you get a strike that you knew it it would probably be hard to target it, but maybe not. Maybe you're able to triangulate that shit.
Oh yeah, because then if it's
go after the phone or the Bluetooth headset,
It's I mean, dude, lightning at that point, if you were weaponizing lightning and shot it at somebody, I'd imagine it would seek them quite literally. Why wouldn't it? That's how electricity works.
So do you think that weather warfare with starting hurricanes or floods or clearly they're making weather? We know that. That's not even a theory at this point. We know that there's weather control systems. They do seed clouds to make it rain. So how far does that technology go? Could you be in a war in the current age and be like, send a hurricane to China?
Yeah.
And then it takes a while, but all of a sudden, now you're directing that shit because there's something maybe in the center that you have control of.
I think the strongest one and the quickest would actually be earthquake. And this is then explained with these people.
By shaking plates?
Absolutely. Certain areas. Because right now, there's already technology that exists, and it's existed for fucking 20 years, 50 years, who knows. And it's simple, easy technology. It's sonic technology with sound to detect oil or metal, and it's for how we find even now oil in the ground and we mine it. And it's just through sound. So we beam sound into the ground and we hear tones back, and depending on the tones, depends on what we're hearing, because everything has frequency and resonates. And so with that, I watched this video where this guy's talking about that same thing, and he gives a demonstration on a grand piano. He's like, let's say that this chord, dong, and he hits a chord, is uranium, and let's say that this chord is dong, natural gas, And he's like, if we were to beam, he's like, all of this is done with 32 watts, I think, or 8 or 16 watts, something very low number of power. And he says HARP has 10 billion watts.
Ooh.
He says if we were to do that, he compares the grand piano to the earth. He says if we were to do that, it would shake the piano so violently, it would most likely shake the house that the piano is in, meaning that it would disrupt the solar system. You know what I'm saying? If we were to fucking beam these watts into the ground, and it would cause the piano to shake. So easily, with beaming sound from satellites to direct pinpoint locations with microwave light technology, laser beam technology, blue ray technology, it can beam and penetrate through and make it ring into the earth at said location that they want it to ring at. And if you did that in the ocean, boom, you got tsunamis, whirlwinds, tornadoes. You got everything to kill everything. And so how better to make it look like, besides natural disasters, than causing an earthquake, which could trigger volcanoes, which could trigger any natural disaster other than that. So yeah, I would guarantee that it's weaponized, that it's already been used in many locations and different things. And a lot of these things that we're being blamed on, like global warming and other shit, which in ways are undeniable in certain things, but other ways I think it's actually the side effects of their technology that they're not actually standing up and taking credit for, or taking responsibility for, and claiming that it's because of their shit. It's their aftermath of their experiments and or of their knowledge of what it actually is doing.